Waking up with you for the thousandth time. Sipping coffee and juice, reading the New York Times. Yeah. You told me I'm the only one, but now you think you've had your fun. You hope I had a good time. Goodbye, we're done. I got you inside my head, playing every moment over and over again. I thought we'd survive instead. You're a heartbreaker and now heartbroken. Waking up with him before the sun. We pour coffee and then read the Chicago Sun. Yeah. He tells me that I've changed his life, and now he wants me as his wife. Well, we had a good run, was fun. Goodbye. I still got you inside my head, playing every moment over and over again. I thought we'd survive instead. You're making heartbreakers of the heartbroken. You're making heartbreakers of the heartbroken. You know, he was a good man. I should have warned him. I should have warned him that I'm an imposter. How does it feel siring so many monsters? And all I am.
Well, good evening. Welcome to the TTRPG Theater. I am your host, Rob, otherwise known as Phantom NJ. It is another Thursday here. Wow, yeah. You know, it's a weird thing when you can't remember from week to week whether you streamed the week before, because things have not been quite as consistent as I'd like them to be. I've been dealing with some health issues, especially dealing with my leg. I'm happy to report the leg is getting better. Right now, we're at the point where I'm just basically waiting for the wound to heal over, and I'm kind of at the point where I can go a while without it bothering me too much. I need to see whether or not it still bothers me after I drive, because that ends up flexing and pulling at the painful part. So we'll see how that goes, but happy to report that things are getting better on that front, which is good. It's really good, because in about 2 weeks, we have virtual Greyhawk Con. And to say that I'm going to be busy that weekend is, kind of underselling it. As those of you who've been following this channel for a while know, I have 6 sessions that weekend. One of which is going to be a 6-hour session. So, 6 sessions, 26 hours of gaming, 12 hours of gaming on the 12 hours of gaming on the Friday. another 8 hours of gaming on the Sunday, and then 6 hours on the Saturday, which is the Righteous Hands, the second anniversary of the Embers of Empire campaign. Starting off, all sessions, obviously, in the Virtual Greyhawk Con will be part of the campaign, so all players will end up taking part in the campaign. And, if they like their characters and they like playing in the campaign, there will be future opportunities. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, no, very, very, very excited about that. In other news, some of you may know that I've been, recently, about a little over 2 weeks ago now, started my journey with the CPAP machine, and I'm awake. It's a really weird feeling. It's like the first, I tell you, the first week, I think I've mentioned it before, even on stream. It's been really weird waking up in the morning and not being tired. And, it's one thing, it's still hard to get out of bed at times because you're comfortable. You don't want to get up and really get the day started because that means work and whatever. But yeah, it's weird waking, you're up in the morning and like, okay, I can do this. And like, I think probably the first full week or so, I was on such an adrenaline rush that I felt like I was running 1,000,000 miles an hour, still getting nothing done because I couldn't. At least I had energy to like pick up things as I went along. So I can't say nothing got done. Not as much as I'd like to if I was able to focus on any one thing, but progress has been made. There's been some progress. I've managed to get some stuff out of the house. My goal, I really hope that I'm able to like settle down and get one of the 3D printers set up. That'd be a wonderful goal. I managed to start sorting my TTRPG stuff because those of you who know me well and have heard me talk about this, it's ever since lockdown and ever since I started playing and running in different systems, this stuff is like kind of taken over my basement. My basement is not small. So, it's been kind of weird. Just trying to get things organized. Like I bought a whole bunch of the gray, like 18-gallon deep gray bins with covers to like sort stuff into. And it seems like the more that I buy, the more stuff there is to put in places, which is kind of freaking weird. And it doesn't help that I've got like all the terrain stuff, the WizKids, the WizLock stuff, and various bits and pieces and such. Things to fill. Some of the WizKids stuff for like filling terrain. People and places and whatever. So that's kind of taken over. A few of the bins. I now have two bins that have all my Pathfinder 2e stuff in. I'm sure that there's still other stuff that isn't sorted yet that needs to go in those bins, and there's room. But those bins are, for a game that I played for, I guess about a year or so. I think that's how long it took for the Outlaws of Alkenstar campaign on Roll for Perception finish. It might have been a little longer because we did have a couple of breaks in there. For something that, I played one, 10 adventure path, Outlaws of Alkenstar. Outlaws of Alkenstar. And, we had a few other campaigns, both in Pathfinder and Break RPG that didn't quite go very far before we ended up before it ended up breaking down for various reasons, mostly related to real life, at least on the Break RPG one. So yeah, it's kind of like taken over, and I've got stuff that I've won, stuff that I've bought, adding, polishing off things in my collection that were missing from like 2E and 1E. Lots of Necromancer game stuff. I it may be like 3 weeks before I get all my Castles and Crusades and other Troller game stuff. Who are the sponsors for this channel? I should probably add that. Let's see, TLG. There we go. Yeah, the Troller game stuff. I mean, I've got so much of it. I finally cleared out the rest of the boxes. I think there's still some stuff that I'm waiting. Well, no, there's definitely stuff that I'm waiting for from them for Kickstarters left. The Codex Infernum and Exaltum, Kickstarter. There's the Gygaxian Fantasy Worlds stuff. I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else. Those two are the two that I remember. Yeah, I don't remember if there what else I have still outstanding from that. I'd have to go take a look, but those are the two that thing. I do have more. I managed to get my Free League publishing stuff in its own bin, so I've got my Dragonbane and all my Dragonbane and all my Vaesen stuff, and I've got more Dragonbane and more Vaesen from the Kickstarter expansions coming. So there's that. As a matter of fact, I think it's I want to say it's the Dragonbane one. Might be I don't remember. One of the two just finally paid off the shipping for it. The other one, I think we're just waiting for it to ship or some such. So there's that coming. So there's more. Oh boy, it's been a trip trying to get all that stuff ready and put together and such. Trying to figure out where some of my dice rolled off to, because I've got some Chessex sets that are missing one die here, one die there, and I'm sure it's all a matter of it having rolled under something, possibly onto the floor underneath the tables. I also have a new keyboard that I need to install, because this one, the shift key, is kind of a mess. And it's the left shift key, so as a touch typist, it is really a pain in the neck because I'm not used to using the right shift key at all, and I keep ending up with like lowercase stuff and whatever if I'm touch typing, and I hate it. Yeah, there's a lot to do. But Virtual Greyhawk Con's coming up. I've been trying to get organized for that. I've got OneNote already set up for it. I would put the Zoom things together, but until I have, I think that's going to be like one of the last things I do. Just because even if I sent that information out now, I'd have to resend it again to all of the players, because no one's going to see that message like 2 weeks from now. I do need to get in touch with my players and find out what their, what is it they'd like to play. Because there's always room to give into what makes the players happy and such. So we'll see what we're going to do with that. I do have some players who are already part of the campaign. Obviously, the one game is full of players from the campaign, but I have some players who already have characters in the campaign, and we'll get going with that and make sure that, depending on there are certain adventures that happen in one area of Nyrond. There's a certain part of the adventures that happen in the other. If they have adventures in the two different areas, if they're playing in more than one game and they have adventures in two different areas, I'm going to want them to have different characters for that section. I don't care if they're all, their adventures are on the same side, with the exception of the 6 Hour Crew, because it's kind of important that they are where they start. And, if they're playing in the other adventure, it's going to kind of, in the other adventures in the same area, it's going to kind of screw things up. So, for the most part, with the exception of my four players, well, actually, really, honestly, it's five now, who are in the Saturday game. With the exception of those, everyone else, if their adventures are all in the same area, they can play the same character in them. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I've done it before. Let people do that before. We're all good. Ooh, but beyond that, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do for Virtual Greyhawk Hunt. I need to get some stuff prepped. I really need to find the maps I want to use, which is the forever problem because I so would love to learn a mapping thing. But hey, Jay, good to see you. Thank you so much for the subscription. 25 months. Just past 2 years. Nice. So, actually, let me get a shout out because I have one. You know what I really need to do when I get my keyboard reset up and everything in its place properly? I need to get my Stream Deck set up. I can probably export it from my laptop and import it here to at least give myself a head start, so I'm not doing this from scratch. But yeah, no, it's time. It really is. I should be able to do like some of the stuff pushing a button. I agree. It's long past time. But like I said, I have a new keyboard to install. I also have one of the last things I got from DG Riddles before he stopped making custom stuff and started doing other things. I have my Phantom of the Opera gaming mat. It's rather large. It's weird because it's not wide enough to put underneath my keyboard and still use my mouse. So it's going to probably end up sitting. Actually, I might end up moving my soundboard over so that I can stretch this thing out. Hey, History Prof, good to see you. Welcome. I've been talking. It's kind of a freeform Thursday because, work has been something else this week. There are meetings going on, and I've kind of like stayed back because I couldn't travel, so I'm staying back to basically mind the fort. And it's been a busy week. And I've talked earlier about the fact that it's an interesting thing being as awake as I am. Hey, Chris, good to see you. Welcome. So, I mean, it's actually allowed me to do my job this week and not be ridiculously exhausted after the fact. It's been a bit mentally exhausting, but still having energy after the fact has been really, really cool. I am looking forward to, tomorrow night is Friday Night Crusades, which is one of my favorite things because my players are awesome. They are, my Friday night group, and I'm always willing to add more, and, people can show up whenever they can make it. But, I've got a core group that, for the most part, shows up week after week after week after week. For a game that's really casual, this game, as casual as it's gotten, there's a lot of things happening. It's just kind of, hey, and to timing, talk about timing. It's like, hello. Well, maybe the Discord message will pop up momentarily as well. We'll see if the timers decide to cooperate. If not, I'll throw us in the Discord message. But yeah, there's the story this time around has gotten deep. The world building has gotten deeper because we started off with a little nothing kind of outpost. I can't even call it a town. It was more like you watch old Western movies and you've got the little boom towns where there just happen to be a railroad stop and you're waiting for the city to pop up around it or whatever. And this is almost that. It was basically kind of a crossroad where there just happened to be a tavern, a small, not even really a church, more of a small chapel, a general store, and a blacksmith. I think when we started, that was like all that was there. And they got really invested in watching the place grow and meeting all the people and seeing what's around. And things are really, it's been pretty damn cool. Of course, my failure is I started this while I was not quite awake, so I wasn't prepared for this. This excitement over the area. I didn't realize that they were going to be this excited to stay. So I need to start marking down where things are on the map and trying to figure that out. And, because I keep getting asked, how far is this from that? And, I kind of sort of remember from week to week. But they have the number of dramatis personae, as it's so called, has grown considerably. I mean, there is a cast of probably 25 NPCs at this point. Maybe a little less than that. It might be 20 NPCs that they talk about regularly, or they talk to and they deal with regularly. And so it's been kind of cool. There's been locations that they visited multiple times, and the Discord one has not happened yet. So I'll pop the Discord message in. So yeah, it's it's been a thing where I got to tell you, when you have a game where there's no attendance requirement, and I know I've said this before. I'll say it to anyone who will listen. I've posted this on social media. Back when I was posting on social media, I've been terrible about posting social media. It is hard enough just logging on and looking at stuff. Trying to be supportive of friends and things, and reposting, especially when I get the opportunity to be in games like Jay's game, where I will be this Saturday. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Just dealing with social media these days, it's such a drag. I tip my hat, if I was wearing one, to the people who go on day after day and post stuff, because my goodness, it's exhausting just looking at it, much less trying to find interesting things to post each day. Who are these people and how do they do that? Yeah, no, I get it. And I mean, the good news is I've never been one really chasing numbers. I'm lucky to be in a community where there is a rather loyal group that shows up, especially when there are games running. I've never had to worry about running a game in front of nobody, not in a long time anyway. So, that's been pretty cool. I'm not worried about numbers. I don't have, especially because of the fact that I just can't bring myself to use Twitter or X or whatever it is at all. And like, I can't tell you the last time I looked at X. It's not installed on my phone anymore. It's just that place became a cesspool and I didn't want to deal with it. Even Blue Sky, it's just, it's the same stuff over and over again. Threads has been kind of interesting, but again, Threads, there's so much garbage on Threads that are just tiring that I can't seem to shake off my algorithm. History prof. There was a time where I was on Twitter more for cybersecurity stuff than anything else. And thankfully it stopped being the place to go for it. I don't have to worry about that as much as I used to. If something pops, I'll go and check what the information is, but I don't have to worry about that anymore. Yeah, no, I mean, I listen. I get that threads, D&D threads really kind of took off in a surprising way because when I was on for the longest time on threads, it was just one person after another telling this story about this thing where they went and this person was rude or weird or they had this interactions like, dude, that's just life. For the love of God, I mean, do people really find this stuff interesting? Because I don't get it's like, and of course there are always people like, oh my God, me too, and this happened to me. I'm like, we just used to call that things that happen every day. It's like Savage Splendor, thank you so much for the Prime Gaming sub. Welcome back. 4 months, very very cool, much appreciated. Yeah, no, and it, like I said, it's one of those things where I've been trying to like avoid all of it, and trying to not accidentally like click on it or whatever, so that I can eventually wean it off my, off of my the algorithm, get off it in terms of the algorithm. It's a pain because it just really does not interest me, and apparently, the not interested tag doesn't work as well as it should, or as well as you would think it would. There are times even where the D&D stuff is like, all right, I get it. It's like, come on. Just, I don't want to be the person asking the same stupid question that everyone else is asking. It's like, all right, and then you have the people who are like, to go fishing for people. Answering questions are not quite clickbait, but they're that they're just like fishing for people to reply and such. It's like, yeah, that's not me. I've been online for ages. I mean, I've been online since the dial-up days before, before AOL was even even a thing. I think when I first got online, first dial up, I think the only paid services might have been Prodigy and CompuServe. I don't think AOL existed yet. At least I wasn't aware of it. It's possible that they were. It's possible they were already there, but I remember when AOL started. But I remember Prodigy and CompuServe being a thing because I was in college and one of my fraternity brothers had I think I had a Prodigy account, and we used to log on to find sports scores. you know, oh man, logging on just to find that. But local bulletin board systems were the coolest thing. As long as you could find phone exchanges in your area. Kids, if you don't know what a local phone exchange is, ask your parents. Because you wouldn't believe the crap we had to deal with when we were kids in terms of just trying to make a phone call. Oh my God. Now it's like nowadays nobody actually calls; they just text everyone. It's interesting. Been an interesting 35 years in that respect. 40 years. But yeah, no, we've come like a long way, and I've been online for a long time, but I've come to realize that there is so much about being online nowadays that just doesn't appeal to me. I like online. Discord I'm good with, though. It's frustrating with Discord when you log into a conversation that's been going on for basically a day and a half, and you're like, you don't even know where to join in on, and you scroll back and you see something that you'd love to reply to, and you realize it was 8 hours ago, and it just feels weird replying to something that far back in the conversation. It is what it is, though. But yeah, no, Discord I can handle. I'm good with that. And of course, playing games with people. It's awesome. And as I said, I will be, and I'll shout him out again. I will be on Lord Gazumba stream on Saturday morning. And I should probably make sure that I am completely aware of when that game is taking place. Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Ah, yes, it's a beautiful thing. Such as it is, I don't have to like jump out of bed. I can wake up nice and refreshed. I can get myself a nice breakfast and make myself coffee and be all relaxed and chilled, and then play some D&D. And Gam or Gam the confident will be back. My barbarian, playing a barbarian was one of my favorite. Was one of the few things that I really liked in Unearthed Arcana. The whole anti-magic thing, we tampered down really quick. I know that it had more to do with the whole Conan-esque swords and sorcery, where magic is, was almost wasn't quite considered devil worship, but you were definitely a dark person for dabbling in sorcery and such. So yeah, I'm like, okay. I mean, maybe not crazy about it, but in 1E, the anti magic thing was the rules as written was kind of brutal. It's like, how are you supposed to play this character if you have a magic user in the party? I can't be telling somebody they can't play a character because the other character is going to want to kill them just because of what character class they're playing. That's stupid. And I can't necessarily, Becca's kids couldn't necessarily trust that people weren't going to do that just to be obnoxious. So there was that. But one of the rare chances I got to play when my brother decided to actually DM, or sometimes I use him as a DM PC when we're carrying multiple characters to do something, was I had a barbarian. My barbarian was Zadar, and it was a fun character. That character went through some Monty Hall stuff. He may or may not have had the Thor Holy Trinity, the gauntlets of ogre power, the girdle of storm giant strength, and the hammer of thunderbolts. I always laughed at the fact that you had a weapon that, in order to use it, required two other magic items. It's like, now, granted, it didn't need to be storm giant strength; it just needed to be a girdle of giant strength of some type. But yeah, I mean, that was an interesting thing. Those ended up being like our high level when we wanted to have some fun, seeing how characters and classes would go up against dragons and demons and such. Those were the characters we'd use. That was a lot of fun. So long ago. I mean, again, when we were kids, there was a lot of time where it was just my brother and me playing with each other, and that was it. We did not have a stable D&D group of any sort. Did you have to have a 25 strength? I didn't think so. I don't need to guess. I can. Well, I mean, and again, it wasn't. It was a stand-in for Mjolnir. It wasn't a. It wasn't Mjolnir itself. Let us go to the first edition Dungeon Master's Guide, where magic items actually were. Well, yeah, but that okay. You're literally talking about Mjolnir. That's I'm not. I didn't go that far, and give him Mjolnir because, I. Well, I mean, we did too, but We did too, but giving him a god's weapon, the literal god's weapon, would have been slightly a bit above and beyond. All right, Jay, we'll see you soon. So let's see, magical items, treasure, miscellaneous. Oh, miscellaneous weapons. All right, here we go. So the Hammer of Thunderbolts appears to be a regular hammer of largest size and extra weight. It will be too imbalanced somehow to wield properly in combat unless the character has an 1801 or better strength and a height of over 6 feet. Then the hammer functions as a +3 and gains double damage on any hit. Okay, so you could wield it without the girdle or the gloves, but it was more of a straight up magical hammer with double damage, which is still considerable. I mean, that's pretty damn cool. I think I had forgotten that part. I don't remember if they. I'm trying to figure out if they changed it at some point in one of the in one of the editions. So beyond that, if the wearer wears any girdle of giant strength and gauntlets of ogre power in addition, and they do say he or she may properly wield the weapon if the hammer's true name is known. Ew. I had forgotten that the hammer would need a true name. It's been close to 40 years. Well, no, that's not true. Actually, probably it's 35 or 36 years since I ran first edition, because I switched over to second edition as soon as it was available. Unearthed Arcana kind of threw me off of first edition a bit. Barbarian's accepted, because like I said, I did love my Barbarian. He or she may properly wield the weapon if the weapon's hammer's true name is known. When swung or hurled, it gains a +5 double damage dice, all girdles and gauntlet bonuses, and strikes strikes dead any giant upon which it scores a hit. Wow. When hurled and successfully hitting, a giant noise as if a clasp of thunder broke overhead will resound, stunning all creatures within, and it does the 3 inches, so, feet for indoors, I guess yards for outdoors, for 1 round. The throwing range is the 1 + 1/2 per point of strength bonus for the gauntlets and girdle. All right. And it says Thor would throw the hammer about double the range above ranges. The Hammer of Thunderbolts is very difficult to hurl, so only 1 throw every other round can be made. And after 5 throws within the space of any 2-turn period, the wielder must rest for 1 turn. Depending on your campaign, you may wish to limit the effect to exclude storm giants and include ogres, ogre magi, trolls, ettins, and clay, flesh, and stone golems. That sounds reasonable. I mean, you would think storm giants would not necessarily be, that as susceptible. And hammers can be hurled just as hand axes are. I don't know why they felt the need to put that in. But yeah, okay. So that was in first edition. Let me take a look at second edition. Second edition. And I think the treasure was still in the Dungeon Master's Guide. Let's see. There we go. let's see. Treasure. Okay, so 140. All right, we're here. Gotta get to the magical weapons. Those are staves. All right, wands. Miscellaneous. Where are the weapons? I'm waiting to find out the weapons were before all this. Because, that would be just about my luck. Here we are. Armors and shields. Magical weapons. All right, so in second edition, Hammer of Thunderbolts. This appears to be a large, extra heavy hammer. All right, Hezir Prof. I appreciate you dropping in. Good to see you. Hope your kid is enjoying piano lessons. So let's see. So for Hammer of Thunderbolts in second edition, this appears to be a large, extra heavy hammer. A character less than 6 feet tall and with a strength less than 1801 will find it too unbalanced to wield properly in combat. However, a character of sufficient strength and size will find the hammer functions with +3 and gains double damage on any hit. So same thing. If the wielder wears a girdle of giant strength and gauntlets of ogre power and knows the hammer's true name, the weapon can be used to full effect. All right, no, this is right now, it is looking to be exactly they just changed the effect for what do you call it? The thunder. And they flat out say that the stuns all creatures within 90 feet for 1 round. Throwing range is 180 feet, and Thor would throw the hammer for about double. Yeah, no, other than the changes to the nomenclature for the distances, same thing. So that's cool. That's very cool. Oh, there is other news. So for those of you who are going to be attending GaryCon this year, I can't tell you anything about when, because it's going to be all very hush-hush. And, there are multiple people at the same time, so I'm not even going to say what time. But, yeah, I'm going to be DMing Tower of Gygax. I'll be one of the Tower of Gygax DMs this year, which is going to be very cool. I'm probably going to use whatever they have available, because with me running 3 games of my own, I am not going to have time to plan anything for Tower of Gygax. It will stress me the hell out, because it's going to be enough that I need to relearn how to run first edition, well enough to, get through the sessions. And it'll be the first time I've DM'd first edition in 35 years. So there's that. So that's going to be a thing. It's going to be an interesting time. But I am looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to playing some Tower of Gygax. That's going to be cool. And there'll be a lot of people I know in that area, because we have got friends in the community who help with the con, and they're usually helping with the Tower of Gygax stuff. So there's that. Friends who are running other sessions. Again, I won't know, I won't have any better idea than you do in terms of who be DMing my sessions, but we'll see how that goes. And yeah, it's gonna be a good time. We've got 6 months to go. Jesus, already just 6 months to go, which means we've got 4 months to go before Paige, where I will not be running anything whatsoever. I am just playing games at Paige. That is all I want to do. I might bring my own chair to Paige, to be honest with you, because I'd like to be comfortable and sit on a chair that I wasn't completely convinced was going to collapse beneath me. And, pretty sure is going to, just give me sores from sitting down on it. It's just most comfortable and scary chairs ever for a big person. It's like, no, I can't do this. So that might be a thing. We'll see how that goes. But Paige is coming. It's only 4 months away. It's 4 months away, which means Christmas is 3 months away. What in the hell is going on here? How is it September 18th already? It just boggles the mind. Which means I do need to put my sessions in for GaryCon, which is another thing I need to do. Throw that on the list this weekend of things I need to get done. When I'm not playing in Jay's game and when I'm not running Friday Night Crusades on tomorrow night at 8 p.m. to 11. Come out, hang out in the Discord if you want to listen in. If you want to roll up a character. And again, there is no attendance requirement. You can show up late, have to leave early, or only able to show up once every 3 weeks, once every 4 weeks. Show up 3 weeks in a row and be gone for a month and a half, whatever. However long you're able to be there, whenever you're able to be there is fine with us. One of our players basically shows up for like the last half hour of every session because they work and they're literally playing as they're taking the bus home. I repeat, they are literally playing on their phone as they are taking the bus home. So if you think that, you need to be, dedicated to, being there the entire session or being there an hour, not true. Show up when you can. Never hurts. Hey, Dave, good to see you. Good to see you. Talking about a whole mess of things. It's been an interesting time. Actually, I think I know I've got a shout out for you. Let's see if I can remember what I put it as. So yeah, if you haven't been watching stuff over at Guild Superior, you really need to do so. They have a guest GM, Candace the Magnificent, was running. Was it Monster Hunters Club? Is that what the name of the game is? Because I know it's not Monster of the Week. I think Monster Hunters Club. Yeah, and it's one of those things where one of the nice things about feeling so awake now and feeling like the brain fog. Oh, using the kids on bikes rules. Okay. Which is another game that I need to put on the list of games that I need to try out. I haven't gotten a chance to do it yet. That's not a hint by any measure. That's just me making a mental list of new systems or systems that I have yet to try because I've tried like 60 of them. I want to try more. But yeah, it's Candace. One of the things about now with the doing the CPAP and feeling awake and having the adrenaline and not feeling like my brain is in this constant fog. It's been a little hard to concentrate still, but it's getting better. One of the things that I really need to step back into and get going with again, because it's not where I want it to be, is my descriptiveness. I miss the days where I could, just describe things off the top of my head and in some detail. And watching Candace run the Monster Hunters Club, the attention to detail and the scriptiveness, that's the kind of thing that I aspire to. I want to get back to. I don't know that, because of the fact that I've run such a sandbox game, I don't know that I'll ever quite get to that again or be able to do that, do it in that detail. But I'd like to try. I'd like to be able to, get to the point where I can remember more than the same 5 or 6 words to describe something. Because that's what it feels like. It feels like my descriptions have fallen kind of flat, and I can do better. I've got an extensive vocabulary. It's just I need to be able to remember them at that time, and start using and start paying attention to the little things and figuring out what details the players are, kind of what details are good for the flavor of the game, setting the scene, the feeling. I think it's a little easier, and again, this is by no means taking away from the absolutely phenomenal job Candace did, because it was just you if you get a chance to go watch the video from the latest session, please do, on Guild Spears. I'm pretty sure, Dave, you've got the videos on demand set up. Her description of the movie store and the level of detail, takes me back. It's the kind of thing where if I can remember that kind of stuff from my childhood and be able to describe what those things were like, it'd probably be an easier haul for me than, trying to describe a fantastical area that I've never seen, full of, types of items that I haven't, probably haven't seen other than maybe quick trips to museums and such, and remembering all the different names for things. But that kind of, if I run a game like Vaesen or something at least a bit more modern, it really, I get that. It's and the way the scene was set, it made it easier. I gotta say, because of it, partially because the game, and the setting and the fact that it was, the way the game was played is probably one of the more accessible heavy role play sessions I've sat through, because there are times, and it also might be again because that I'm more awake, but there's an energy to it, there's a tempo to it, that was easy to get into, easy to stick with, which hasn't always been the case with me lately. I like to watch other people's stuff, but there are times when 5 minutes in I realize that, or 10 minutes in I realize that I have absolutely zero idea what's going on. And it was really cool watching a game where the level of descriptiveness and the basically getting into the scene was that easy. And that's what I want to get to that point. And I'm lucky enough to have players who are very complimentary, and I really appreciate them. I appreciate the fact that they enjoy the games that I run. It makes me want to do better for them, because I can do better. I know I can do better. I've been better, there, and you gotta get back to that. All right, Dave, have a great time. Enjoy New Arden. Tell Ty and everyone I said hi, and I'll catch you later. So there's that. That's back, getting back to that type of descriptiveness is what I aspire to and what I want to get back to, and getting back to that feeling. All right, so we've had some fun. I've rambled on quite a while. We are now in just about an hour in, and Jay is up and running with. We're going to be joining Lord Gazumba. So if you can hang around for the raid. But before that, I did. I know at least one person. Exclamation point ticket to enter the raffle. It is for a $10 coupon towards any digital product from the Trollord Games website. And if you like getting both the PDF and print option, you can apply it to that too. You can't apply it to print alone, but either PDF or the PDF and print options for any product on their website is available. So last chance, otherwise it's going to be really easy to predict the winner here because, all right. In that case, I am going to close it out and congratulations, Chris. Oh my goodness. So it's been one of those days. I'm always happy to have one of my players, be able to get more TLG stuff. It's really cool. And, Chris, I need to look at the games that I'm hoping that you and Keisha are able to play in all the systems with the new job, all the games with the new job. I know you hadn't mentioned anything yet. And then we need to look to whether or not you guys are, the two of you, are going to need second characters for some of the games. So we'll take a look. But I will get you the, what do you call it? I will get you the coupon code and we will get set to raid. Thank you everyone for, dropping by, whether you were talking, lurking. Thank you, Lord Gazumba and Savage Splendor for the resubscriptions. Always, always a pleasure. Again, Friday Night Crusades tomorrow night in my Discord. 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time till 11 o'clock p.m. And again, show up when you can. If you want to listen in, you're allowed to listen in. There's no problem. People do not mind. Some people actually enjoy it. Our players actually enjoy having people hanging out. And then Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, I will be on Lord Gazumba's. And that's not the raid button. That explains why I wasn't doing that. Oh, man. Let's try that. All right. Hey, thank you, Saribot, for working. It didn't tell me about ad timers. I need to check on that. Well, we'll see how that goes next time. Anyway, raiding into Lord Gazumba now. Have a good evening, everyone.